Having seen countless prison scenes, I've never encountered a prisoner as bizarre as this one. Every day he wakes up, gargles with 100 bottles of whiskey, then gulps down a ton of painkillers, and then beats up a punching bag to strengthen his arm muscles. Instead of morning exercise, he takes his fellow inmates out for a fight for fun. He looks like a lunatic, but no one would guess that this guy is one of the most notorious gang leaders in the underworld. With a shrapnel fragment lodged in his head, he's always plotting revenge. This gang was blind to cross him, daring to chop off his hand. So who is this guy? What was his journey to destroy the entire criminal syndicate like? How terrifying is this boss? Then, please watch this action masterpiece that would make even Napoleon himself want to buy tickets to see the film about the Invisible Agent. In Hong Kong, the Invisible Front is considered the most notorious criminal organization in the underworld, led by the boss who looks gentle and harmless. Yet, he's a cunning and ruthless mastermind. He's old and his hair is already streaked with gray. Yet, the boss's words still carry the weight of a tiger and the roar of a lion. He's the mastermind behind methamphetamine trafficking operations. It could be said that the number of drug transactions by the Invisible Front gang is more than the pills in a pharmacy. With a massive gang of followers, the boss fears no one, ready to send anyone who dares to obstruct his illegal activities to their grave. The boss's most trusted right-hand man is Chang, the deputy leader and considered the invincible force of the Invisible Front gang. He single-handedly takes down an entire assassin syndicate as easily as a walk in the park. Besides, there was the second deputy, John, who wasn't as good at fighting as Chang, but was incredibly cunning and devious. One day, the boss assigned Chang the task of dealing with a gangster named Camel. He immediately stormed into Camel's house alone. Hearing the gunshots, the gang members immediately searched for him. Chang appeared like a ghost, his movements faster than a heartbeat. In the blink of an eye, he took control of the situation and sent these guys to their deaths. He sent one of them flying through the glass door, then shot the ceiling fan, bringing it crashing down on the guy behind him. When Camel and his gang above started firing their guns downwards, a blonde guy rushed into attack. He thought he was something, but sorry, he was still too young and inexperienced. He knocked this guy out. Camel lunged down, but Chang snatched his gun, grabbed him by the neck, threw him to the floor, and then knocked him unconscious. Outside, John's brother, the younger brother of the gang leader John, tried to go in to help Chang, but was stopped. We have to stay outside and reap the benefits. That's the smart move. But little did he know that Chang had already completed his mission. The next day, at a temple in Malaysia, the Invisible Front gang, led by the boss, met with the Triad Society to prepare for a drug deal. However, despite traveling all the way from Hong Kong, the gang leader said, "Sorry, brother, Camel got there first and put down a deposit." He wanted the entire shipment. Hearing this, the boss not only remained expressionless but calmly replied, "Before coming here, I prepared a gift for you." Camel and his blonde henchmen, recruiting police officers as pawns and then planning to trade with the triads. After saying this, the boss presented proof that the blonde henchman was a police officer. Camel, enraged, snatched a gun and fired several shots, some piercing the police officer's head. He then hastily pulled out a lighter and lit a cigarette for the Triad Society's leader, begging for his life for violating their business rules. However, the bloodthirsty underworld doesn't speak for itself, so Camel's life was over immediately. Send those two fools to sleep with the fishes. The transaction took place shortly after. Confirming that the Triad Society's goods were of high quality, the boss transferred the money. However, just as he was about to light his cigar, the boss discovered that the lighter had a hidden listening device. It turned out that the Camel gang leader had given it to the Triad boss earlier. Malaysian police swarmed the temple like ants, armed with advanced weapons. They quickly subdued the two guards and threw smoke bombs inside. Knowing they were ambushed, everyone abandoned their belongings and fled. However, the special forces surrounded them from all sides, making escape difficult. A fierce battle ensued, and many fell. The gang's deputy, John, and his brother tried to protect the boss and get him out. Chang circled around to find another way out, but the overwhelming number of police blocked all routes. John's brother was hit by gunfire and captured alive. John was quicker, jumping onto the car and speeding off to pick up the gang leader. Chang tried to escape but was hit by a grenade near his head and collapsed on the spot. John lunged forward and stabbed the two agents, killing them instantly. However, there were too many police officers, so the boss couldn't save Chang and had to immediately jump into the car with John and leave. 2 months later, Chang was lucky not to die, but he received a 3-year prison sentence for trafficking contraband. What was even more distressing, that a huge shrapnel fragment from the previous explosion had lodged in his head. This made it impossible for Chang to sleep, as nightmares tormented him every night. To help Chang get through this, the boss came and encouraged him, saying, "I've arranged for you to receive the lightest possible sentence. Serve your sentence well here. 3 years from now, when you return to Hong Kong, you'll still be a hero and the one to take my place as gang leader." After the boss left, he had his lawyer send Chang $1 million along with a Malaysian gangster named Demon. The young man's father was from Hong Kong, so he was fluent in Chinese. In the following days, this young man took care of everything for Chang, from bringing him food and drinks, even dealing with the thugs at the prison. The main purpose was to help Chang get a good night's sleep and quickly get through this period. "Since you've been so kind, I'll repay you handsomely." Chang frequently paid Demon generous sums of money to thank him for his sacrifices. But then, just before his release from prison, an incident occurred. Cheng went into the bathroom to brush his teeth and wash his face when suddenly two guys appeared. Knowing that his wound was flaring up, one of them grabbed a toothbrush and bit him in the hip. It was like mistaking a tiger for Hello Kitty. When Cheng was thrown into the water tank by one of them, he fought back, showing the two of them what a true master was. Just then, an acquaintance appeared, none other than John's brother, the younger brother of the gang's deputy, John, who had also been shot and imprisoned by the Malaysian police like Cheng. My brother will become the gang leader. You'd better stay here forever. It turned out John feared that Cheng would take over after his release from prison, so he had transferred his foolish younger brother here to eliminate Cheng. Demon suddenly appeared, knowing that Cheng was suffering from his wound and his fighting ability was affected, so he immediately charged in and beat these pigs senseless. This guy took a powerful knee strike, but then his head was tested against a concrete wall without much effort. Demon easily threw John's brother into the water tank. Cheng, furious, immediately sent this scoundrel to the afterlife. After settling the matter, he told Demon to come to Hong Kong to find him after his release from prison. However, a month after reintegrating into society, Demon didn't go to Hong Kong but stayed in Malaysia selling cheap street food with his younger sister, Yan. Just when he thought he was living a peaceful life, Yan's heart condition suddenly relapsed and he needed surgery. To raise money for his sister's treatment, Demon decided to go to Hong Kong and find Cheng. Officially becoming a member of the Invisible Front gang, Cheng immediately introduced this young man to his two close friends. These were Rose and Ben, a handsome and beautiful couple who were Cheng's right-hand man. After the introductions, Ben, in a very cheerful mood, told Demon, "Someday I'll take you to the 4th floor of the Fantasy Hotel for some fun. A gangster needs a Rolex watch to look cool. I'll definitely get you one." That evening, the Invisible Front gang held a conference to welcome Cheng back. The subordinates all bowed respectfully to the deputy leader, except for John, who didn't like this. The boss is now in a wheelchair due to old age, weakness, and a brain tumor. Even picking up a cigarette from the floor is a problem for him. Now that you're back, I can finally rest. Did you enjoy those 3 years of eating prison slop? Excellent. And where's your younger brother? Is he dead? John angrily grabbed a fork, ready to strike, but Demon stopped him in time. Only when the boss spoke did they both calm down and sit at the table. Without beating around the bush, he got straight to the point. "I'm getting old, and I don't know when I'll be in my grave, so I want to find someone to take over the leadership of the gang, while I'll step back and become the chairman of the board and an advisor. To be fair, I want to hear the shareholders' opinions. I nominate Cheng. He suffered humiliation in prison for the gang. Even so, the situation has changed over the past 3 years. I think John is more suitable because he has made many great contributions. For example, the most recent drug trafficking operation. John successfully negotiated with the local boss, the leader of the Hatchet gang. The local boss allowed us to transport the goods through his port. We lost 20% to the local boss, my friend." John confidently stated that if I hadn't stepped in, there's no way in hell we'd get that price. Who can still settle things with just words these days? Hearing this, Cheng just sneered and replied, "So, if the local boss demands 40% tomorrow, you guys have to accept it? You're really asking for trouble. We weren't this cowardly before. So, is this how you earn merit? Should we fight? What era are we in that we're still killing each other? You should go get some mental treatment." Although his head ached terribly, Cheng still stood up, pushed the shareholder's head down on the table, and said, "You're afraid of the local boss, but I'm not. We have to reclaim what we've lost. So leave this matter to Cheng to handle. The position of gang leader, I will definitely take it." Having concluded, Cheng left. Returning home, Cheng ordered Rose to arrange a meeting with the local boss to renegotiate, or else we'll have to use our fists. Ben said that he wanted this young man to rest at his place, however, Cheng insisted he stay, saying there were plenty of spare rooms. This shows that Cheng trusted and valued Demon very much. Yet he didn't realize that he had placed his trust in the wrong person. Actually, Demon was an undercover cop, a former final-year student at the police academy. However, before he could graduate, the chief sent him to a prison in Malaysia to act as an informant alongside Cheng. After everyone had left, Demon carefully turned on the bathroom faucet, then called Chief Kim directly to report the situation. Suddenly, Demon received a notification that the funds for his sister's heart surgery had not yet been approved by his superiors. The next day, Cheng, along with Demon, Rose and Ben, went to see the local boss, the leader of the Hatchet gang. He offered Cheng a piece of sashimi, but he refused. "I want everyone to mind their own business. How dare you take 20%? The goods of the Invisible Front gang have to pass through my port before they can reach the mainland. It's only natural that I collect a commission." 3 years of tending ants in prison seem to have dulled your brain considerably. Just then, his henchman dragged a fat man in. The man frantically knelt down and begged for his life. However, the local boss said that he had told them the 2 containers that arrived were just food. "And then I discovered 20,000 iPhone 17. Betraying your teacher and betraying your friends is a taboo. Well, 3 million in cash plus a finger." After saying that, the gang members immediately started their attack. Witnessing this, Cheng and his brothers knew he was using a tactic to kill the chicken to scare the monkey. The local boss laughed contemptuously and said, "I don't fear anyone anymore. Don't make me use drastic measures against you guys. What did you say, you bastard? Cheng stopped him, then said nothing and left. That night, at the harbor managed by the Hatchet Gang, while the gang members were playing cards and making hot pot on a rainy day, someone appeared. It was Demon. He casually threw a few pieces of meat stew. Who are you? I'm your daddy. These guys immediately attacked, but didn't know they'd met the master. Demon single-handedly took them down. They intended to gang up on him, but he wasn't afraid. He charged forward and they were doomed. He's fearless in the face of all kinds of storms, and Demon has been in and out of prison and isn't afraid. So these insignificant guys are nothing to him. Call someone to remember my face. Just a minute later, about 50 members of the Hatchet Gang appeared. Brother, he is. As they were about to attack Demon, they were suddenly ambushed from behind. It was none other than Cheng and his crew who had appeared to ambush them. I'm so scared of you guys. Fight them. The two sides began to engage in a fierce battle. A chaotic brawl ensued. Cheng's men were few in number, but all were martial arts masters. Demon remains the main force. Ben also fought very well, beating these guys to a pulp. Even more surprising was Rose. The beautiful woman was also a ruthless assassin, no joke. Seeing the muscular boss throwing punches, Cheng grabbed an iron hook, dodged the blows, and hooked it into his shoulder. He threw him straight to the beach. Cheng then delivered another blow to the throat, sending him to join Aquaman's team. Once everything was settled, they all left and returned home. At that moment, Demon unexpectedly received a call from the doctor treating Yan. His sister's condition had worsened. Her heart was failing and she needed urgent surgery, costing $2 million. Unintentionally, Cheng, who was inside, overheard this conversation. Being a man of loyalty and gratitude, he was thankful to Demon for helping him during his 3 years in prison. So, the next day, when Demon went to the hospital to visit his sister, he saw a familiar figure. It was the gang leader who had been sitting there sullenly. It turned out that Cheng had paid out of his own pocket for Yan's surgery. This made Demon extremely grateful, but he was also both happy and worried. He didn't want Cheng to know about his sister's presence in Hong Kong. On the other side, after hearing the news of his subordinate's massacre, the local boss arranged a meeting with his deputy, John, to talk things out, foaming at the mouth, assuring him that it had nothing to do with him. But the local boss didn't believe him, so John revealed a secret. In prison in Malaysia, Cheng had killed John's brother. Those who share a common enemy become friends. We'll drag him down into the mud together to get revenge for this humiliation. That night, the boss summoned Cheng to a bar. Demon was downstairs while the two of them had a heart-to-heart talk upstairs. After a few drinks, the boss got straight to the point. He praised Cheng for being more ruthless than before, saying he'd only teach local boss a lesson if he beat him senseless. We're preparing a 500-pound methamphetamine deal. Once it's done, the gang leader position will definitely be yours. 3 years ago, that explosion didn't take my life. If even God couldn't do anything about it, then you don't need to worry. After closing the deal, the boss immediately left. Taking this opportunity, Cheng offered Demon a bottle of whiskey, his favorite. They both drank, finishing the whole bottle in a single gulp, but it didn't faze them. To continue the fun, little brother went to get more drinks. Suddenly, a guitar melody rang out, accompanied by a song. It turns out he was the local boss. Cheng, why did you kill my brothers? Do you know how heartbroken I am? Demon entered carrying a bottle of whiskey and noticed the waiter looked suspicious because he was holding a syringe. However, a dozen assassins had appeared behind him. Immediately, Cheng was attacked by that waiter. Demon was no exception. He couldn't let these guys do whatever they wanted, so he had to beat them senseless. This waiter had some martial arts skills, and he wanted to practice medicine, so he tried to inject Cheng. The wound reopened, making it difficult for Cheng to defend the waiter. In a moment of carelessness, he was injected with half a syringe of medicine in his chest. Blood rushed to his head. Cheng unleashed a barrage of punches and kicks to the knees, smashed a whiskey bottle, and then grabbed his neck, snapping his neck like a twig. The tables have turned. I'll shove the remaining half syringe into your neck and see if you survive. Downstairs, Demon was still fighting off the Hatchet Gang's mafia. In the cramped space, he was killing them one by one. And yet, these guys came out of nowhere in such numbers, like a swarm of wolves, unafraid of any enemy, luring them into an open space, then attacking with sharp blades. In a flash, they were all lying on the floor, ready for burial. One idiot woke up and rushed in, only to be given a kick that destroyed his face. Even his parents wouldn't recognize him. Cheng was already unconscious from the anesthetic. The local boss rushed forward and tried to stab him, but Demon hit him in the mouth. It didn't faze him. The local boss lunged at Demon, strangling him with a microphone wire. Then he introduced his skull to the wine cabinet. Cheng had also passed out without realizing it. Waking up from his daze, he found himself surrounded by a pack of wild wolves in the Hatchet Gang's lair. I see you as a fascist breaking into someone's house and then committing brutal acts. Where is morality? Where is justice? Justice is a joke. In the underworld, fairness doesn't exist. Local boss laughed and said, then the strong survive. No sooner had he finished speaking than he and his henchmen chopped off 2 of Cheng's fingers, then packaged them and sent them to the invisible front gang. Local boss, call the boss. If you're going to lose a shipping fee, let me know beforehand. I'll still let your goods arrive for the upcoming 300-pound drug shipment, but I'll increase the shipping cost by 10%. Making it 30% in total. No problem. When will you release my man? Cheng is a loose cannon. Just leave him here. We'll deal with the transaction first. After saying that, Local boss hung up. Worried about Chang, the beautiful Rose spoke up. We have to rescue the deputy gang leader. However, John argued that Chang had massacred 50 of local boss's men. Losing only 2 fingers was already a stroke of luck. I think the transaction is the most important thing. You want Chang dead so no one can claim the gang leader position, don't you? Since when are you old enough to speak up here? Get out of my sight. I believe the Hatchet gang wouldn't dare do anything to Chang. No one in the gang dared to speak up. Then let us handle it ourselves. After saying that, the female assassin Rose went outside. She told Ben to call all the guys to go find Chang. Demon was about to leave when he was stopped because he was Malaysian and didn't know anyone. As the couple left, John suddenly appeared. Chang is now a dog at the end of a road. Only those who seize the opportunity are true heroes. Whatever he gives you, I'll pay you double. Think about it. Knowing full well that John was a petty opportunist, Demon wasn't one to burn bridges after crossing them. Immediately afterward, he arranged to meet Chief Kim and said, I know the police can easily find Chang's whereabouts through security cameras. If he dies, I'll have no one left to rely on as an informant. Was it because of the case, or had he already considered him a brother? Don't forget you're a police officer. I spent 3 years in prison for what the hell? The chief angrily said. No matter what, you're not qualified to ask me to do that. Chief, please trust me this one time. Okay. But remember your place. Having located Chang, Demon immediately began planning his rescue. Knowing that local boss owned a prized horse, he waited until it was brought back from the racetrack, then ambushed it to steal it. On the other side, Chang said to local boss, Go ahead, I know you're just putting on an act. Well done. A clever man like you will surely be highly valued by the king of hell. Well, I'll humor you then. Just as local boss was about to act, a truck horn suddenly blared outside. One of them tried to open the gate, but the roof exploded. The truck drove in, and it was none other than Demon. Everyone was surprised that he had found this place. However, local boss's eyes widened in astonishment when he saw his priceless war horse appear here. Calm down, brother. Release my prize stallion. Let Chang go, or I'll kill this horse. Local boss immediately complied, as he considered this horse his own child. Demon and Chang immediately tried to run away. However, they were blocked and forced to return. Once you've started something, you have to see it through. Chang immediately took off his shirt and wrapped it around his recently severed hand. Immediately afterward, the 2 golden brothers charged in, punching and kicking the thugs. Using a piece of firewood as a weapon, Demon bravely broke through the enemy's encirclement, tossing them around until they were knocked to the ground. Chang had snatched a hammer. No matter how hard their bones were, they'd still end up in the hospital with orthopedic injuries from being hit by hot steel. Cornered in a container, he remained fearless, charging in to take the blows. He pinned 2 of them to the table and smashed their skulls to pieces. Demon was no less formidable. Having studied martial arts at the Shaolin Temple, he was like a fierce tiger, knocking thugs down like bowling pins in a hurricane. They were truly useless. Suddenly, a car sped towards them, sending these big shots flying backward. These bloodthirsty thugs were about to charge in an attack, but then Rose and Ben stepped out, each with a gun, and shot them to pieces. It's true that in front of a powerful guns, no one stands a chance. After dealing with all of them, they couldn't find the local boss anywhere. Hey, stop hiding in your shell. Come out here. Suddenly, the local boss lunged out and attacked. Demon swung his staff to attack, but it was too late. He had already taken Ben's life. Everyone fell silent. Chang picked up the gun and said, You're doomed, you dog. There's plenty of blood here. Let's put him out of his misery. Chang delivered a single, piercing shot, sending the local boss to the Underworld's blacklist. Everyone felt immense pity for Ben's fate. I promised to take you to the Fantasy Hotel on the 4th floor, but it's too late. Go to room 409 and find Diana. She's very skilled and her price is reasonable. Keep mine. It's a fake, but better than nothing. It hurts so much. Give me a bullet. Chang, we'll still be brothers in the next life. Chang suppressed his grief and immediately took action to free his brother in arms. Taking local boss's phone, Chang learned that he frequently contacted John, which explained why local boss knew John was at the bar the night before and ambushed him. Give this evidence to the boss. Because John betrayed his own gang, Chang was the only remaining candidate for the leadership position. The boss sent his assistant to find John, but he had already escaped. At this point, all the gang shareholders had to agree and vote for him. Chang officially became the leader, while the boss would step back as an advisor. However, he remained the chairman of the board and the most powerful person. The 300-pound drug deal with the Triad Society was approaching. Chief Kim said that if he won this deal, he would be allowed to return to being a police officer. If I persuade Chang to testify, will he get a reduced sentence? You've been a gangster for so long. Don't you want to return to being a police officer? That would blow our cover instantly. After saying that, Chief Kim left. This put Demon in an extremely awkward position. He had, without even realizing it, come to regard Chang as a brother. Demon would never have guessed that nothing could escape the boss's notice. He arranged a private meeting with Rose to discuss something. I have information about Chang's location on the day she was kidnapped by local boss, found by the police. There's definitely a mole in the organization. I don't want to make things difficult for Chang, so you handle it yourself. The person who found Chang's whereabouts that night was Demon. So Rose immediately went to the hospital where her younger sister Yan was being treated to investigate. Seeing a letter with Demon's old address in Hong Kong, she knew what she needed to do to find out Demon's true identity. The next day, Rose took Yan to a rooftop resort. When Demon arrived, Rose said, "I found your police academy acceptance letter at your father's old house. If you don't admit it, I'll shoot your sister. I used to study at the police academy, but I dropped out and went to Malaysia to take care of my sister. A meager salary wouldn't save Yan, so I didn't pursue that profession and chose to become a gangster instead." Just then, Cheng appeared. He had heard everything and absolutely believed Demon. Seeing Rose still holding the gun, Cheng immediately slapped her. Then he told Demon to take his sister away. Rose chased after Demon, intending to shoot him, but unfortunately, the bullet pierced Yan's heart. Witnessing his beloved younger sister fall, Demon was filled with rage and rushed towards Rose, intending to fight her to the death. Luckily, Cheng intervened in time, preventing him from taking action. His heart ached, tears streaming down his face. After months of suffering from heart disease, Yan had now met a tragic end. "Brother, these past days have been incredibly happy for me with you by my side. You must live well." That evening at the harbor, Cheng wanted to give Rose a way out, telling her to flee abroad and never return. However, as the beautiful woman was about to board the ship, she noticed Demon was already there. "Where are you going so early?" Even more surprisingly, the boss and other shareholders of the Invisible Front Corporation had also arrived uninvited. "It's quite a crowd, isn't it? A class reunion?" "Rose, I told you to find the undercover cop, and you ran away. Cheng, you have to find the mole so we can sleep peacefully. One of them is definitely the mole." After saying that, the female bodyguard Emma handed Cheng a gun for him to judge for himself. Suddenly, Rose snatched a weapon and pointed it at the boss. However, Emma disarmed the gun and used the bolt to stab Rose, causing blood to gush out. Before taking her last breath, Rose said, "Demon, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to kill your sister." After saying that, Rose went to the afterlife to reunite with Ban. The boss concluded that Rose was a mole. Before carrying out the 300-pound drug transaction with the Triad Society, Cheng arranged to meet Demon at the beach. He advised Demon to be careful because this time it was very dangerous. Finally, the day of the transaction arrived. Demon informed the police chief of the time and place. Therefore, the chief ordered the entire police force of both Hong Kong and Malaysia to surround and arrest them. On the other side, the Invisible Front gang arrived at a warehouse in Malaysia to conduct the transaction. However, while waiting for the delivery partner to arrive, the leader of the Triad Society unexpectedly called to change the meeting location to Fantasy Hotel. Since no one was allowed to have a phone except the boss, Demon heard this news, wrote it down on a piece of foil, tore it up, and threw it on the floor to inform Chief Kim. However, he didn't expect that the boss already knew all along. It turned out that at the harbor, he knew perfectly well that Demon was a mole, but he still pretended to be an informant, claiming Rose was an undercover cop with the intention of using a counter strategy, fighting fire with fire. When the police arrived at the warehouse, there was nobody here. Chief Kim saw the pack of cigarettes, thinking it was a secret message left by Demon, but ultimately found nothing that angered him. On the other side, the boss had gone to the hotel to meet with the Triad Society to begin the transaction. Cheng checked and confirmed it was indeed high-quality goods, so the boss told Emma to transfer the money. Although the transaction was successful, the police still hadn't arrived, making Demon extremely anxious. The boss looked at him and said that the police wouldn't come because this piece of paper was here. Cheng was stunned. Could his former comrade in arms be an undercover cop? "Cheng, have you finally seen the light?" After saying that, the boss ordered Emma to take action. However, Cheng stopped him. He wanted to do it himself, so he gave Demon a dozen bullets to the chest. The boss clapped his hands and said, "You've got guts." But then he changed his tune, saying, "Cheng, I gave you a chance, but you were blind. I think I have to try to take on this gang leader position myself." After saying that, he sprang to his feet with great vigor. It turned out that all the rumors the boss had spread about having a brain tumor and being in a wheelchair were just a performance. "Why did you do that?" "Because you're too outstanding. So outstanding that you're trying to surpass me. But I want to prove to everyone that I'm the most outstanding." It turned out the boss was the one who transferred John's brother to another prison to kill Cheng while he was still incarcerated. Unsuccessful, he resorted to using someone else's hand to kill Cheng. The local boss's ambush of Cheng at the bar was also masterminded by the boss. That night, after talking to Cheng, before leaving, the boss called John to inform him. That's how local boss knew the location and came to ambush him. 3 years ago, the explosion didn't take his life, and even John's brother was helpless. Next, John and local boss are also useless. So today, I'm going to serve you justice myself. As soon as the boss finished speaking, Emma pointed a gun at Cheng. However, Cheng showed no fear, only a smirk. Suddenly, John, upstairs, fired a grenade down, stunning everyone. Then he grabbed an AK-47 and unleashed a barrage of bullets on the Triad Society's henchmen, sending them flying, and threw one to Cheng. Cheng unleashed a swift, devastating barrage of bullets, leaving the remaining men riddled with holes like a beehive. John also came down, joining forces with Cheng to send the Triad Society's leader to his grave. This left the boss still bewildered. The boss, there's always a way around it. Your foolish younger brother was killed by Cheng. Are you still helping him? You got played. Cheng didn't kill my brother. It turned out that 3 years ago, Cheng had suspected the boss was the mastermind. So at that time, he told Demon to leave and not lay a hand on John's brother. Therefore, John's brother survived and was reunited with John. Knowing your true face, I sided with Cheng. You used me to kill Cheng, but failed and sent Emma to take my life. You guys are just used toilet paper flushable and forgotten. Oh, really? John immediately shot a bullet into his thigh, then intended to put another in his head, but Emma woke up, cut his leg tendons, and finished him off on the spot. Cheng held his gun, intending to shoot, but she approached, kicked him against a pillar, then delivered a devastating knee strike, and flipped over, sending Cheng tumbling to the floor. Cheng didn't expect Emma to be so skilled in martial arts. He was furious. Cheng lunged at her with a flying kick, then relentlessly pursued Emma. But it wasn't easy. He was grabbed by the leg and thrown onto a wooden table, leaving him feeling like his spine was about to break. Just then, Demon woke up and hugged Emma. 2 against 1. The odds were definitely not in her favor. Unexpectedly, Demon was still alive and well. It turned out that before carrying out this transaction, Cheng had advised Demon to definitely wear a bulletproof vest. So when Emma was about to attack, Cheng snatched a gun and shot his younger brother straight in the chest, not anywhere else. The boss picked up the gun and fired back, but it was no use. Demon, quick-witted, grabbed a fork and stabbed the old man in the hand, then took the boss's phone and texted Captain Kim that he was at the hotel. Emma woke up intending to attack, but Cheng stopped her. Then he chained her by the neck and slammed her head against the edge of the table, killing her instantly. Next, he would deal with the boss. However, Demon intervened. Get out of here. The police are coming. Be a witness to receive leniency. With no other choice, Cheng went ahead. Cheng, please spare me. At this point, Cheng revealed the truth. I am an undercover police officer. After saying this, he shot the boss in the stomach, ending his life. 3 years ago, at a temple in Malaysia, when the police were ambushing them, Cheng's superior, the one who had sent him as an undercover agent, was killed. Cheng tried to take a roundabout route to avoid the police pursuit and capture the boss. However, unfortunately, he accidentally stepped on a bomb and had to endure the humiliation of imprisonment, waiting for this day. The shrapnel in my head has tormented me for the past 3 years, and it could take my life at any moment. I'd rather die now than be tortured by this illness. I've known you're a good cop for a long time. I won't make things difficult for you. The evidence of the Invisible Front's crimes is on Yan's camera memory card. After saying that, Cheng saluted Demon. At that moment, the police arrived and pointed their guns at him. Chief Kim ordered them to lower their weapons. However, Cheng challenged the special forces to shoot him dead. Demon shouted that he was a cop, but it was too late. Cheng had officially passed away forever for his career protecting justice. Later, Demon returned to being a cop, holding Cheng's photo in his hand, speechless because the price paid for justice was too high. The film shows us that the underworld is always a bloody place. Therefore, stay away from a life of crime. Always stay on the straight and narrow.